Could the Bengals bolster their defense with a former All-Pro? Will they add Lombardi Lenny? My thoughts on two veterans that are in town today to visit the Bengals. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. And the Bengals, well, they're 4-6. They're on the outside looking in of the playoff picture. They need to beat the Chargers on Sunday, and, well, they might have some help doing it. They have two veterans in, more on them in just a second. A reminder, today's video is brought to you by BetUS, and for more, always check out BengalsTalk.com. But let's dive into Xavien Howard first. And Xavien Howard, according to Mike Garafolo, is in town. It was, I will say, rumored behind the scenes that the Bengals are going to be working out Xavien Howard, and it makes a lot of sense. The former All-Pro cornerback hasn't been on a team this offseason, has connections to Lou Anarumo, who was in Miami when Xavien Howard was drafted in the 2016 draft, the 38th overall pick. And you're talking about a guy in Howard that, yeah, he's 31 years old, but he's a former All-Pro. He's a four-time Pro Bowler. He was a Pro Bowler in 2022. Last year, he wasn't for the Dolphins, but you're talking about a guy that played his whole career in Miami, 8 seasons, and is visiting and can maybe help shore up your secondary, shore up a secondary where we've seen Cam Taylor-Britt take a significant step back this season. We've seen them lose Dax Hill. And really, my only question about this is why not have him visit sooner? Why not bring him in sooner? A guy like Xavien Howard, you're not asking him to be a true number one like he used to be, and that's exactly what he was in his prime, but you're asking him to help. And the only thing I can think of is maybe the Bengals were kicking the tires on multiple deals at the deadline. I think this visit has been in the works for quite some time. And by some time, I mean the past few days. I think they were ironing some things out. And so can Xavien Howard help this defense? Absolutely, I think he can help this defense. He gives you an established veteran presence at cornerback. He's fresh for the stretch run, and he knows Lou Anarumo's system. And I think you mix all of that together, and it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense for this Bengals team that is desperately trying to make a playoff run and get back into the playoff mix. And you have two very much must-win games with the Chargers this Sunday, and then after the bye against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So help during the stretch run, maybe, but I like Xavien Howard. As for Leonard Fournette, well, you're talking about a running back. Yes, a running back. Does that make sense? Should it make sense? Did they make the right call there by kicking the tires on Lombardi Lenny, as Leonard Fournette has come to be called, because he did win a Super Bowl with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Was a big part of that, by the way. I will discuss that and how Leonard Fournette could fit. Plus, the Bengals did make an effort to bolster their pass rush, and they did add a piece to their offense. We haven't talked about those guys on the channel. We will do that along with Leonard Fournette coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by BetUS. They have the fastest payouts in the industry. And right now, if you use code YouTube150, you'll get a 150% bonus on your first deposit, and then a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. All you have to do is go to betus.com, use code YouTube150. Right now, the Bengals are 1-point underdogs against the Chargers this week. So if you like the Bengals, if you like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to go there and beat Justin Herbert and beat Harbaugh and beat a really talented Chargers team, a quality Chargers team, well, you can get in on the action right now with BetUS. You can take advantage of their live wagering on all major games as well. And did you know that BetUS can give you your very own account manager? All you have to do is go to betus.com today and sign up with code YouTube150, and you'll get a 150% bonus on your first deposit. The Bengals are also working out Leonard Fournette. What can Leonard Fournette bring to this Bengals team? Well, here's what I'll tell you. The Bengals really liked Leonard Fournette in the 2017 draft. He was the number 1 running back on their draft board. They had him ahead of guys that would be kind of laughable now, but they really nailed it. They liked Leonard Fournette. They liked Joe Mixon a lot, and they liked Alvin Kamara a lot. All 3 guys obviously ended up being really good players. Fournette was the 4th overall pick, though, like super high pick. And it was a weird situation in Jacksonville, certainly. He had back-to-back or 2 1,000-yard seasons, out of his first 3 years. But then he ends up in Tampa and ends up being a big part of Tampa Bay's offense. and caught 69 passes in 2021, helped them make and not just make, but win the Super Bowl and was a big part of that playoff run. And so, what can he give them now? He can give them a power back. I don't think he's the Leonard Fournette that's going to give you the production that even he had a few years ago in Tampa Bay. But if Mike Garafolo's reporting is accurate, where Ian Rappaport's reporting is accurate, where it's Leonard Fournette is a potential practice squad addition. Well, that's fine. I'm fine with that depth addition. A guy that can give you some power, certainly has the capability of impacting the game and is comfortable in big games and big moments because he's been there, done that. So this isn't going to impact Chase Brown. I don't think it's going to impact Khalil Herbert. But what it does do is those two guys, you're talking about 5'9", 5'8", not big backs. Leonard Fournette is a big back, listed at 6 foot, 228 pounds. And so he gives you a different dynamic, certainly, assuming that the workout goes well. So Howard, Fournette, I would be on board with both guys. I really would. I think that you wonder why now and not 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month, 4 months ago. You could assign them in camp and had them on the roster and ready to hit the ground running when you needed them. Also, a quick note: the Bengals did acquire former Detroit Lions wide receiver Isaiah Williams off waivers. And a lot of people saw this and said, well, why a wide receiver? Well, he's an undrafted slot receiver listed at 5'9", a really good burst. And the reason I like this, he can help in the kick return game and the punt return game with Charlie Jones out. And I think Charlie Jones is probably out again this week. So look for Isaiah Williams to potentially have a special teams impact. The Bengals also did claim Yannick Ngakoue after the Ravens waived him. Unfortunately for the Bengals, the New England Patriots had a higher waiver priority because their record is worse, so they were able to land Yannick Ngakoue. So the Bengals, Leonard Fournette and Xavien Howard in town right now. Isaiah Williams added, and they tried to claim Yannick Ngakoue. So almost 4 additions or potential additions to this roster or to this organization if one signs on the practice squad. So we'll see what happens. But I would be on board with Howard. I would be on board with Fournette on the practice squad. Makes a lot of sense in both scenarios. Today's video was brought to you by BetUS. We'll see what they do. Make sure you check out my conversation with Joe Goodberry. It was an extended conversation about the 2024 Bengals, their outlook following this 4-6 start, and if just maybe they can still make a playoff run. For Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.